Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. Well, many of you may not have a problem with self-esteem, but the reality is that many of us do. And if you want some clear and innovative ways to raise your self-esteem, you definitely want to get your hands on this book that we're talking about, Self-Esteem for Dummies. I'm joined this morning by the co-author of the book and branding expert, Renee. She's here with me to give us all the details of what goes into it. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
I'm excited to have you. This is so on point with what people are needing today. I mean, I imagine you hear stories and you are visiting with people, so you know. First, introduce us to Renee. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Wow. Started out in corporate America, then went into entertainment, was in entertainment for 10 years. I modeled with some of the biggest names in the business, and then I became a television talk show host, producer, and spokesperson for Paramount out of Philadelphia. And then I ended up becoming I started my own business, and then I failed, but learned many lessons. And then I went to work at a university, and I got fired.
It's all a part of it, yes.
Self-esteem for dummies. And then I started my own business again, and it really wasn't quite working the way I wanted it to. So I then went back to corporate America and was working my business, started writing, launched my first book, have been doing this. I am now going to be in my 10th year in September.
Wow.
So written 4 books. And I've worked with multi-billion-dollar companies. I've worked with people who have been in bad relationships, coaching them, just done international work. So just really, and I finally found my place.
Excellent. Yeah. I mean, that really is a wonderful story, and especially how you point out I failed, I was fired, because people sometimes don't realize that's a part of your story. You know, you have to do those things sometimes to get to the other side.
Oh, absolutely.
So what I want to know also from you, Self-Esteem for Dummies, have you always been the person who is able to say, I got it together, even in those failures? Or did you come to some of this the hard way, the way many of us do?
I'm like everyone else out there. Unbelievably now, when I look at my life, I was teased and bullied growing up until the age of 12. And then I picked up my first book on self-development called See You at the Top by Zig Ziglar. And I started practicing some of those principles. And before you know it, I had my shoulders back, I had my head up. And in 2 years, I was voted queen, most popular, best personality, friendliest of the entire school. And that followed me. I even became a peer counselor. But then when I went into the workplace, and we all have those moments where we're in the workplace, we have a boss, we want to impress them, but ultimately they have their own stuff. And I ended up being humiliated from my staff. I was a director of public relations. I mean, just torn down. And it was in that place. It was that place that I found that there was more inside. I became a student of my own teaching. And so even though we have self-esteem, we have moments where we get shaken at our core, and we have to go back, regroup, remember what we did to get to where we are or where we were, and reevaluate ourselves. And so no, and I believe that every day we have to be working on ourselves. We feel good about ourselves some days, and then there's some days we're like, okay, I'm a little out of alignment. And so that's what Self-Esteem for Dummies is. It helps to get you in alignment and keep you there, because you develop the skill sets to deal with those down moments.
Okay, so who is the book for? There are teenagers, obviously, who suffer, especially now in the age of social media and technology, and their self-esteem gets just so destroyed, crushed often. There are people at home going through life, kind of like you were saying, can't quite get it right. Who, men, women, girls, boys, who is the book, who does it speak to?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. It speaks to all of those individuals. You may be thinking, well, how can one book speak to so many different audiences? Well, the book starts out dealing with your past experiences and how images impact your relationship with yourself and how your parents' relationship with you impacted you. By the time you get to chapter 11, we're now talking about getting into a place of self-awareness, getting to a place of self-actualization. So if you don't need chapters 1 through 11 and you've gone through that process, but you're the person who has been shaken, you know, if you're in a situation where you've fallen in love and you're feeling broken, or you're trying to pinpoint where you are, if you're in a situation where you have a family member that's addicted to drugs and you're struggling to figure out, how do I deal with them without losing myself in this situation? The book, we deal specifically with that, what to do, when to let go, if you need to let go. So we also we help mentors and teachers build the self-esteem of children. So there's a wide range of people, and I encourage people. I think that this is where we miss the mark as a society. We have so many organizations that are saying we need to build the self-esteem of women. And how important that is. But I think we miss believing and knowing that men struggle with the same thing. I have male clients. I have been in workshops, and after it's over with, a male comes up to me and says, I know I look great.
Yeah.
I sound good, I'm presenting well, but inside I feel like crap.
Hold
Can
that
you help
thought.
me?
We're going to talk some more about that, and we're going to talk some more with Renee, because you bring about some very great points. And I know people at home are thinking, oh my goodness, I really want to get into this a little more. And we will. We'll be right back. Stay with us. We'll have more good things with Renee right after the break.